welcome back to Banditcraft. And I've put in some work and I thought I would really crash into that. I know I was just building this building right here. Okay, I did land. This building right here. And the reason why I stopped recording was because I kind of had to think too long, and I don't like making super long recordings unless like it's one big flow. And I'll sit here and look at this like this. Come back, look, come back, look. Because this is one of the few times I actually had all the materials. And then I kind of got into this flow here because this is a space I was kind of worried about how to fill in. I knew I wanted trees, but I didn't know how or where I wanted to put them. I don't want them super tall. If I can get it. Thank you. I didn't want them like this. Oh, not like my head. Like these spruce trees here. I wanted them kind of small, like I have over here. Like this one. Very small, but it kind of brings your eyes up. And that's kind of the point of how I have this laid out. Now, there is quite a bit of blocks. I will admit, there's quite a bit of blocks. There's actually less blocks than I wanted to use. I actually wanted to use some jungle wood in this. Jungle wood, stripped jungle wood. Like, like planks and then just the raw material, but stripped in this. And I didn't really need to because I started using granite, which is a really nice block. Surprisingly, it's not a block I really liked too much until I got into really warm tones. And that's the reason why you'll see me adding flat, you see that? Kind of flat textures, because once you get into like these textures here, you see that? It has a lot of light in it. Whereas these are warm. Once you take away the light parts, you can have a warm feel, because it's pretty dry here. It is pretty dry here. It's coming along. It's coming along. These spikes and stuff here, I have to bring this down some as well. I have to bring this down. I have been busy though with so much stuff. I have the interior doing that, this other one right there. But I come to think about some things, and once you get to a building, because it took me a few hours to do that, just to like the terraforming and then of course the buildings, to just kind of take a break from all that. So I remembered I had this from Creative, and she got me this thing here. So what I want to do is fly over to, I'm not going to cut this because I kind of want people to see how close the end portal is to me. And it's right here. That's why I haven't made an actual nether portal to it, because I don't need to. It's right there. And it's kind of in the middle, because Creative's over this way. I think it's that way. And then I think Evie's over here, I believe. Why would you? Oh, I had this one block. Somebody, I guess, got too scared to jump into the hole like that. Ugh, it's fine. I wonder if they noticed this, because I did this as well too. Okay, let's try this again. I have been working on a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I've been working on a raid farm over there. It's pretty simple. But my problem is not getting it to work. It's getting it more convenient. Because it's here. I want it with me. I don't want it way out in the water or anywhere else. The problem is there's no towers that I've found so far. I wonder if I can hit that dolphin with this. There's no towers close by me. I've looked. I may have to look more this direction, but the closest one to me is maybe 2,000 to 3,000 blocks that way. Flying, still not bad. But it's right next to 2 villages, and then I have villagers in the ground over here. I could easily just fly this. Right here, I have 3 there, and I have 2 here. Not ideal when you're trying to get the raid to start over there, where I'm going to have a villager. But that, hopefully, I can get worked out. What I wanted to do quickly, I didn't want to make it too long, because I can talk about this all day. Is I had somebody ask me on Reddit about building tips in survival. And it's not easy when you want to build something so big. It's easy to work out a structure like this. I don't really care for them, to be honest. like stuff like that. I can do it and be like, okay. But when you want to make it so personal, like your stuff, something that's unique to you, and that's kind of where I found my style was actually when concrete blocks came out. I haven't used any yet. Is making your build your own. And that's one of those things is you can see there's a lot going on. There's a lot. But when you break it down, my number one survival tip for building something that you like, building something that you don't like, and taking it down, either way, once you practice enough, you'll find that my number one thing for building, or what I found anyway, is that I always pick blocks last. It sounds strange, but I always pick blocks last. The first thing I do is direction. Doesn't really care to me what direction. I can say I want the building to go up. I want it to go out. I want the trees to go up. I want this land to go up. And you can kind of see how I did that with, let's not die. These, you can see how plain these are. Very plain, very plain. The reason why I keep them so thin is because I know I have to build them up. This started as a flat wall. Very flat, like one dimension, like just, do I have any blocks on me? Like this. Kind of like that. And it just went up, but as stone. And stone I like because it's neutral. And if I wanted some more accent with stone, I just put andesite, which is great. No, nothing bold. So shape is number one. Pick a shape, whatever shape you want. You want the house to be wide, you can lay out whatever building you want on it. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Building, terraform trees, whatever you want it to be, rivers, land, lay it out in your mind, that is, direction. And then kind of lay out the direction you want it to go. Second would be the direction. Once you get the shape, you get direction. Direction is a big thing. And the reason why it feels so massive, it's not because it's big. It is big. But your eye takes you everywhere. You see this stuff, and I'm not even finished with it yet. This right here. And it takes you this direction. It brings you over to this. And then it touches this. Then you feel this right here. It brings it up. You see all these little turns and little crevices that go in, which is the depth. It's not necessarily the blocks, because we haven't even got to the blocks yet. We just are direction and shape. And, of course, the shape comes out, comes over here. It kind of comes out, back up, and then it goes back up, and then, of course, you get to building. See how the building's like the last thing you see? You see there's one there, but then you kind of have to take in everything else before that. And that's one of those directions, and this is one of my funnest challenges yet. It takes a lot of work, it does. It's direction. So when you come in here, see how you're flying through all of this? Because I do a lot of flying. Everywhere, I'm considering all the places, like see these islands, all the places you're going to see, or me or whoever comes by, you see them everywhere. So let's say if I'm looking up here, even with a different FOV, you get stuff everywhere. And that's kind of what I want to happen. So here, direction, you want to see something that brings you somewhere else. And that's the big thing for you. Do you want them to look up? Give them something to look up to. Something, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a tiny island. It could be a little house. It could be a beacon. It could be a light, small something that says, hey, look up to me. My base is going upwards. That's kind of how I want it. That's what I'm doing. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything this massive. Another tip, how I process survival building is, once you get direction, you want to pick a mood. And with blocks, you have moods. And the reason why you won't see me doing like, I'll do this, it's a waste of block. This. Because now I take away from the structure I want. This is very hard. Hard lines, hard blocks. But this, now I have so many possibilities with that. You see that? To where it's smooth. I'm trying my best to start now building differently in regards to texture. My most textured block I think I've used so far is this one. My favorite block in the whole game is this. Minus the leafy. bushes, leaves, I think this is the most textured block just outside of this block here I've really used. And you can kind of see why it's smooth. I want to keep it smooth, but you have so much contrast. So your mood is your blocks, how you want to set your mood. This is a very dry, look how dry this is. And this is plains. Now if I get in here, it'd be a little warmer, because you can tell by the grass, obviously. But look how dry this is. But if you were to just put this in there, see how that warmed up immediately, even in this biome. That's the reason why I love this block so much. You can pick and choose what your mood's going to be. Do you want it scared? Do you want it bright white? Do you want sand? Do you want quartz? I don't want that. I kind of want... I've always liked the idea of feeling camouflage. Not in the sense of you're hidden, but the idea of everything kind of melding together. So shape, direction, and then mood. And then, of course, you can pick your block palette. And that's one thing my friends will hear me say is, I don't know what blocks to use. And you'll see me doing this a lot. You'll see me just walking around, just placing. I don't do anything creative, like nothing. Because I'm not going to rebuild stuff that I can't build the first time. I don't pre-make buildings. I don't do any of that. And with organic building, it's not something that's easy to replicate. But you'll see me doing this, and this is one thing I love, is I'll walk in here and start just looking at blocks. I'll look at blocks. That's all I do. And I know which ones I don't want, like this I don't want, because it's too textured, and you can kind of pick and choose. Rule of thumb for blocks, though, is I comfortably will say if you want detail, and it doesn't have to be this big, like expansive, but you want at least one textured block, and then you want about 3 actually mild blocks. Doesn't really matter what it is. Doesn't matter what color it is. You can make basically any palette you want work. How I do it, which is a little bit more, is I will have a soft texture, hard texture, and then I'll have another soft texture like this. With color is the granite. Do I have any granite on me? No, I don't. But the granite, let's walk over there. And I can talk about this all day, sort of thing. But you can see soft texture, hard texture, kind of that, and then this granite. This complements this, but then you also have it light enough to where it complements that one. And then you have all your flat blocks. Your complementary texture blocks, like really textured, and that's textured in what I'm doing. And then you have at least a good amount of smooth or complementary blocks. That's kind of how it works for me. And you don't have to use the new blocks, you can use old blocks. I am not going to use cobblestone. I'm not. It's easy for me to add cobble or mossy cobble to this, but it's ugly. It's ugly. It doesn't make any sense to me because it's too contrasting. Let me try getting that before, because this video is going to be long. For me, that is. Because I can really talk about this all day, all day. Do I have? I know I have some. What is this? Here? This. Okay. I don't do this. Where? Wait. No. Oh, this block. Here. This doesn't make much sense to me. And it could make sense to you. It just doesn't make sense to me. If I were to put this here. Oh, haste. Let's get rid of that. There. You see that? I don't like that. Again, I like things to be kind of camouflaged in. Because this green, even this, has a little bit of green right there that complements this block. But you can see how it now breaks away from every other block around it, except for the coarse dirt. Coarse dirt, I'm telling you, goes with everything. It doesn't really go with this block either. Even texture-wise, the grays are different directions. That's why you won't see me use that block. I'm not going to use it. I use it in, like, structures-wise, but landscaping-wise, it's something I don't use. You can pick which ones you want, and it's more than likely will be fine. But that's kind of how I go about building anything. It doesn't matter what it is, except for these type of buildings here, like actual buildings, because I love to terraform more than anything in the world when it comes to Minecraft, because you basically make anything and everything. And hopefully we can bring some more in here. But this has been a really long video of just talking, and I can do it. I can do it all day because I just love doing it. And it's not for anything besides I just love doing it. And I think for any Minecrafter who's been playing for so long, once you build things and kind of get a joy and stay happy about it, you want to share it with other people. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. Something I've never done, something I hope that you've never seen. Things you can learn from it, things I learned as I'm doing it, because there's a lot of fails that come with you building so expansive. Little things you can fix. These little things are not as bad, so take your time before you even start placing your blocks. This block just irks me. I don't know why. Even away from it, you see, the directions, and I do hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I hope to catch you in the next one.